G'day art adventurers, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, thank you for stopping by. I hope you like it and feel free to subscribe, it's free. So it's been a while. I have been very busy painting a whole bunch of commissions like this one. The client wanted some owls, and she'd seen a former painting of mine where I'd stacked some frogs on top of each other, and after submitting a few different ideas, we went for a similar approach for owls. At first, I masked off the area. You might have just seen that with the blue Holbein masking ink. And then I went in with a background that I wasn't so sure about. And you'll see over time that this background ends up getting completely lost. I do like the initial effect of having some branches and the idea or sense of trees in the background, but I also did want a night sky. And so I thought maybe if I put some branches down and then layered on some washes of watercolor on top of it, I could still see the branches poking through a little bit or showing through a little bit, just faintly. But it just became pretty muddy. And so you can see here I scrubbed things off a little bit and just ended up putting down some flat washes to even things out. And instead, I decided to break out a little bit of my gouache in a second, just a few different bright colors, and to spatter them around to create a starry night sky. And so I tried to do the branches again here, you can see one last time before I go with the gouache approach. I've just put down some tracing paper to mask things off there, and that will protect the owls themselves so that they don't get splattered. And then once all that's dry, it's time to take off the masking ink. And I used a kind of rubber ring that I picked up in Japan to be able to do that much easier. You can just scrub at it with your fingers, but it takes a bit of time and effort. You kind of get little friction burns on your fingers if you do it a lot. So that rubber ring actually comes in really handy. Japan has pretty much a tool for every little art problem that you can think of. And now I'm moving into using my Daniel Smith primatek paints, which are actual real gemstones. There's a starter pack that you can buy where you get rhodonite genuine, jadeite genuine, amethyst genuine, Mayan blue genuine, hematite, and piemontite genuine. And I also have bought two others, bronzite genuine, which is a kind of sandy brown color, and serpentine genuine, which is a greenish olive kind of color. And these are, like I said, ground up gemstones or semi-precious stones or various other minerals and rocks, and then formed into watercolors by Daniel Smith. I think you can get the set pretty cheaply on Amazon in the US anyway, and it's a great way to explore and try out some of them to see if you like them. They're an interesting thing to paint with. I also end up adding in some of my other paints, especially to get some brighter yellows or brighter colors. I've looked at the whole primatek set and it's hard to find. I don't think they have any bright yellows in it. I guess there's just not really naturally that many bright colors in amongst gemstones, for yellows anyway. So you might be wondering, well, why would you want to paint with them? They have some interesting properties, like for example, the amethyst genuine, they sparkle and it sparkles and shines just like actual amethysts do. And for some of the others, they'll granulate really strongly, like the hematite, and others just have a faint kind of sheen to them or a faint sparkle, or they'll have interesting kind of effects when they play in with each other. Some of the best ones I don't think are included in the set, unfortunately, but the set does give you a kind of taste of all the sorts of properties that you can get with the primatek range. Anyway, I sound like I'm a walking sponsored advertisement for Daniel Smith. I'm not, it's totally not sponsored, but I just think they're really fun and interesting to play with. I've moved on now to painting in the eyes of these little owls, and this is where things start to come together a little bit. I'm really happy with the main owl. I think it came out really, really well. The top two owls I struggled with a little bit in stages, partly I think because they were quite small and fine, and partly because I was in a bit of a time crunch, so I was having to move pretty quickly on this painting, and I still ended up having to put down, I think, 3 or 4 layers in most areas, so it ended up taking a bit more time than I expected, but it was still a lot of fun to explore the different primatek paints and mix in some of my other paints with it. And that's totally fine to do. You can mix watercolors from different brands. So I put in a little bit of Holbein, a little bit of Schmincke, and a bunch of other little sets that I have in amongst the primateks there. For the top owl though, I am pretty happy with how the wings and feathers came out. They're quite colourful and dynamic, I feel. I just wish I could have gotten some of the shading elements a little bit better done for those top 2 owls, but overall I think it ended up coming together really well. Which is lucky because I really had no more time left. I failed to paint this properly the first time. I did a whole another try and I just wasn't happy with the piece, so I had started from scratch again, and that was pretty much all the time left that I could allocate to this painting. So the second time was a lucky one, and by the time I finished it, it was something that I would have liked to hang up myself next to my frog painting. So I think that's always a good indicator of something that if you're happy to hang it up yourself, it's ready to be passed on to the client. And so I hope that the clients love this whenever it arrives. I heard that it's still floating around in the post somewhere on the way to Australia, but hopefully it's going to arrive soon. I've also noticed that I've gotten a bump of new subscribers lately, so thank you so much if you recently subscribed. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you can click that button that I'll leave at the end of this video. It's free, so why not? And I'd love to hear what you guys think about these owls. If you can leave me a note in the comments below, or because it's holiday time, just let me know what you're up to for the holidays. I hope you're getting a break, and I hope that you're having a great time relaxing, and that you get some time to make some art if that's something that you have been wanting to do as well. I know I always would look forward to those times when I had a different job that I could just sit down and create during the holiday break and relax and unwind with some art, going on a wonderful art adventure. And so that's pretty much it for today. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this speed paint. I've got a whole bunch of other videos that are filmed and ready to go, so the next one isn't going to be so long of a wait, and I'll start getting into the video editing and uploading process as soon as I can. And once again, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or Happy Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever you may celebrate or not. And I hope you have a wonderful end to 2018. It's crazy to think it's the end of the year already. Okay, bye.